I'm recording it on the secondary system, and there we are. It looks like we are live indeed. Hello, everyone, as you folks work your way into the webinar room. I am Steve Dotto, and we welcome you to our webinar Wednesday for this week. I'm joined by the lovely and talented April. How are you doing, April?
I'm good. How are you? Happy Wednesday.
Happy Wednesday. Happy Wednesday. Steve, yes, it feels like Friday to me already. It feels like I've already had a long week as I was on the road this week, traveling to places that aren't necessarily all that accessible. Thunder Bay, Ontario, I was in on yesterday, coming back from. And it's just no easy way to fly to Thunder Bay from Vancouver. But I complain. Folks, welcome to the webinar. This isn't about Steve's travails. Today, we're going to be talking about YouTube, getting your first 100 subscribers, starting your YouTube channel. There's hi, Steve from Thunder Bay. So this is Rob calling us in from Thunder Bay. I was in Thunder Bay yesterday. And as Rob knows, there's no way. The problem when you go to Thunder Bay is this, April. From Vancouver, you fly, and Thunder Bay is about, I'm going to say, 1,000 kilometers. No, maybe less. Maybe 800 kilometers from Toronto. Okay. And as you fly past Thunder Bay, and you see it, and then you go to Toronto, and then 5 hours later, you're back in Thunder Bay because you got like an hour and a half on the ground, and then an hour and a half flight, so maybe 3 hours later. So it was quite frustrating. Anyways, that's all I'm saying.
Isn't that kind of like when you fly to Ireland? Don't you fly
Ireland? Dublin. You fly over Dublin, and then you fly to London and then back. Those sorts of things are just irritating. Oh, look at this. We've got tons of people, and we've got to say hi to everybody and let them know what's going on. Right. I'm looking forward to this webinar today because I think we've got a really unique take on what's happening, or giving you some great ideas around starting a YouTube channel. So I see Russ from Michigan, and we see Marlene from Georgia. Wow, from Georgia. Avril, how are you doing? And Gert from Belgium. Welcome, one and all. So what we're going to be doing today, to give you an idea for those of you who are new to Webinar Wednesdays, is we do these tutorial webinars every week here on dottotech. They're trainings. They aren't really designed to sell anything or anything like that. They're designed to teach you a little bit more about social marketing or productivity. That's what Webinar Wednesdays are all about. Now, we're using Webinar Jam, which is the webinar delivery platform that you see that you're in. And on the right-hand side, as you see, we have a great chat window that we use a lot within the webinar. Now, when you do have questions coming up, use that little question bubble. It looks like almost a chat bubble to the side. When you click on that, it converts your comment into a question, which makes it far easier for us to identify the questions to make sure that we can answer all of your questions as we go along. We're going to be with you for about an hour today. If you have technical issues, refresh your browser is the first thing that you should do. If that still doesn't work, exit and re-enter the webinar. If that doesn't work, you might change your browser. They recommend Chrome, but sometimes just work your way through. They're probably screwed, but you will have access to a replay. Now, we make the replays of these webinars available for 48 hours after the webinar is over, and I also publish them sometime this evening on YouTube. So if you want to be able to fast forward in the webinar, you don't want to wait for the webinar software to serve it up. You can always it's kind of a little life hack. You can look for the webinar replay on YouTube. You won't see the chat, but you can fast forward to the part of the webinar that you might happen to be interested in. And that's also available for 48 hours on YouTube once we are done. So that's kind of a little life hacking trick going on here. In a few moments from now, I will start, as I normally do with these webinars, is I pre-record the bulk training content. That way it's compressed the amount of time and I don't ramble when I deliver it. I can also do a higher quality of delivery. And so there's about 27 minutes. It's a little bit longer today. It's about a 27-minute video where I'm going to go through starting your YouTube channel. And while that's happening, April and I will be in chat and answering your questions. And the cool thing about that with these webinars is by us being in chat while it's going on is we can answer a lot of the questions, a lot of the simple questions we can answer in chat, which I believe increases the information density. It increases how much information you can glean from this hour that you spend with us, which is a good thing. So with that, am I missing anything, April? Let's do our poll. We've got two polls. We've got two polls for you. One of them is purely for us and is administrative, and the other is for you. Our first poll is, there's been Webinar Wednesdays now. This is our 8th Webinar Wednesday, and we're loving it. We're loving doing them from our perspective, and I believe that the community is really enjoying them as well. But we want to make sure that they are as deliverable as possible. So I've had a couple of comments in webinar times are always going to be a challenge. But I've had several comments of people asking me about alternate times that we could deliver this, because we only deliver these webinars once live. That's part of the nature of Webinar Wednesday. So my question to you in April, if you could pop the poll up, is this time good? Or would it be vastly better for you having Webinar Wednesday, say, an hour and a half later in the day, 3 hours later in the day? So I think we will also send this out. We will also be asking people in other forums than just this, because obviously you all being here means that at least for you people, you figured out a way to make it work today. So I think we don't necessarily have a completely balanced result as we see. I thought it would be closer to 50-50, but look at this, 86% of the people love this time here. So that's good to know. So that's going to help us out a lot as we go ahead. So I appreciate that. So we'll give you a few more seconds to enter that. And I'll introduce what we're going to talk about today. So we're going to talk about YouTube publishing and starting a YouTube channel, which I think of all of the social networks, starting yourself out on YouTube is sometimes, in some ways, the most daunting, because the nature of YouTube is a social platform, and you can grow your channel through social networking in YouTube, but it's a long path. YouTube is probably closer to launching a web page than a social network, where the fact that most of YouTube growth happens through search, through discoverability. And there's two sides to that sword. The one side is it makes it difficult to get started, but the bonus is once you're established, YouTube becomes this phenomenal discovery engine that just keeps bringing new people to you. I know we've got 800 or 900 people on the webinar. I'm willing to bet that a substantial percentage, probably north of 50%, first discovered our brand through a YouTube search of some sort. That's how powerful that tool is. So I just wanted to make sure that you guys understood that. Just the poll change. You put up the other poll. Did you do that, or did I do that?
No, I did. Okay. Sorry, I hit the button too soon.
It's okay. It's totally distracting, but it's fine. That's the beauty of live webinars. But at any rate, so talking about YouTube as a discovery engine. So consequently, I think that getting started, those first 100, those first 1,000 subscribers, that first establishment of getting on YouTube is one of the really difficult journeys that happens in social broadcasting or in social media. So we're going to deal with that straight up today. So the question that we have to start is that's germane to the content is, how are you doing on YouTube? What are you doing right now? So the first question is nothing, but I want to get started. You've got a channel, but you're not doing much with it, which is a big percentage of people. I have a channel and I'm trying, but not getting very far. And I have a vibrant YouTube channel, 1%. And I believe that was me that said that. But look at that. So we've got, I think, we've got an audience that is going to be interested in the content that we are going to be sharing today. So let's lock that one off, April, and let's go. That's perfect. So the result here is 44%, 30. Well, it's all relevant today. So let's get going. So here's what we're going to do now. I'm going to jump in. We're going to start the video, the pre-recorded video that I set up yesterday for you folks. While this is happening, we'll be in chat. We will return at the end of this video, 27 minutes from now, and we will answer any of the questions that were too long for us to answer within chat and answer the rest of your questions, fill you in on what's happening next week on Webinar Wednesday, etc. So without any further ado, we are going to jump into our presentation part of this week's Webinar Wednesday. Looking forward to this one now. Starting your YouTube channel, getting those first 100 subscribers or first 1,000 or first 10,000. We're going to be talking about getting started in YouTube. So what can you expect in this segment now, that the pre-recorded segment? We're going to talk about what all the experts tell us that we should be doing as we're starting our YouTube channel. There's some great advice and some wonderful resources online that I resourced before I started, as I was preparing for this. So I'm going to share with you what other people say about this. Advice that I followed as I was starting mine. But then we're going to go beyond the obvious, beyond the easy to find tips on starting a YouTube channel. We're going to try and find some extra nuggets for you today. I'm going to talk specifically about developing a format and a strategy for your channel. So that's kind of what we're going to cover. So I did a lot of searching, both when I was starting my own YouTube channel and in preparation for this webinar. And I found pretty much some commonality with all of the experts of things that you need to do as you're starting your channel. Just when you're a nascent channel, just beginning, the things that you should be doing to ensure that growth. And they are, I'll go through them, and I'll highlight the ones that I think are really important and that you need to pay extra attention to. But first of all, knowing your audience, understanding what you are all about and who your audience is ultimately going to be. Having a clear idea. And some people in the social media space call this your avatar, the person who follows you most closely. But understanding what they are going to be looking for and basically who they are. Another tip, number 2, is one of the most important ones, I think, which is publishing frequently. I'll talk about more about that in a moment. But being regular on your publishing schedule, crucial to growing, because you have to engender trust in your community. Engaging in your audience, taking time to read their comments, respond back, and start conversations with your community. To me, that was one of the most important aspects of growing our channel, was my commitment to engagement in the comments area of YouTube with my channel. Cross-posting your content, sharing it into other social networks. I mean, the most obvious growth strategy is making sure that you are asking people to come to your YouTube channel from Facebook, from Twitter, from Instagram, from your other social channels, using all of the other places that you are relevant and driving them towards your YouTube channel to help increase awareness of that channel. That should be obvious to all of us. Making sure that you've got good branding. And the branding specifically that I'm talking about is your channel art and your thumbnail images. So much of what happens, especially as you start to get some success in YouTube publishing, is you'll be suggested. YouTube will ultimately start to suggest you in search or in suggested videos when people are watching related content. And the social proof that comes from seeing a graphic that you recognize that builds brand identity is ever so valuable, and it's never too early to start. So coming up with a look and a format for your videos, for your thumbnail images, that's consistent, that lets people know that it's you, crucial. They say partner with other creators. All of the other experts tell you to partner with other creators, which is basically kind of like what certainly happens in the podcasting community, where you have other people with big followings on your podcast or in your shows so that they'll socially share. I think that is a good strategy. It's not one that I undertook, and I think you can do without it if you choose, because quite often you'll end up chasing other people, and depending on how committed those other people are is how much they're going to share you with their community, but certainly it is worth exploring. And I should say, there are a few partners that I've partnered with on an ongoing basis who have are really in alignment with my value system and the sort of way that we do business. And you recognize them. I mean, people like Vivica von Rosen and Sue Zimmerman, who I've done an awful lot with online because I get along with them well personally, and I like what they do and I like how they teach. So partnering with other creators is a good way to increase your reach as well. Optimizing your videos for search, which we talk a lot about here on our channel. Making sure you have good titles, that you have good tags, that you have good descriptions that are keyword heavy, keyword centric. Ultimately, the value of YouTube is going to be through search and optimizing for search right from the beginning. Again, it's something that's never too early to start, optimizing all of your content for search. They tell you to make a good channel trailer. It seems that every one of the suggestions says make a good channel trailer on your YouTube page. I wouldn't spend too much time on it. And here's why. Your YouTube page is very similar to your Facebook page. People don't really visit it very often. They see you in their feed, they see you in search, but they very seldom come to your page as a starting point. I know that all of the experts tell you to spend time on that channel art, on the header image, and making sure you have a good YouTube video there. And yeah, you should do that. But don't lose sleep over it. It's not the end of the world. It's not the most important factor. Having, other things that happen on your channel, things like coming up with playlists of related content so that YouTube knows what video kind of should come next from you, that's far more valuable and far better use of your time than worrying too much about that channel trailer. But when you do have time, create a good channel trailer. At least the other experts say so. So who am I to say that they're wrong? And the last one is so obvious, it's something that I didn't do for the longest time. And that's ask for a subscription. At some point in your video, do a call to action, say, please subscribe to our channel. All you have to do is say that, and people do it. I thought because my content was so darn compelling right at the beginning that I didn't have to say that it was self-evident. Apparently it's not. So you do have to go through and ask for the subscription. So those are kind of the top list. There's a lot of top 10 ways to grow your YouTube channel, top 10 ways to get your first 100 subscribers. And if you do a search, you'll find that all of these suggestions being listed out as well. But I wanted to highlight a few that I think are most important. And that first one is publishing frequency. I think this is the hardest to achieve, is coming up with an editorial schedule that you can meet, where you can publish content on an ongoing schedule that will help you dramatically. It will help you grow your audience. It's especially hard work at the beginning when you aren't getting a lot of traction and you aren't feeling that success. But it's momentum. It's like being in a really low gear. It's going to take you a while. You're going to grind along for, I don't know how long, but it's going to be longer than you want. I can guarantee you that, until you start picking up momentum and you start getting viewers and you start growing, and then it's almost like a logarithmic curve as your subscribers increase and as your reach increases. Everything seems to get a lot easier and a lot better, but it's still important right from the beginning to come up with a strategy for publishing frequently. And we will talk more about this. I'm not going to leave you hanging on this. I'll talk to you about some techniques and some things that you can do strategically that are going to help you with publishing frequently before we're done with this pre-tape version here, with this demo here. Next thing is having that call to action within your video. But I don't want you to make it a beg. Often with young YouTube content creators, we get them begging right off the top, please subscribe to my channel. And they go into other people's channels, not even in their own video. And in the chat, they say, sub for a sub. Will you subscribe to my channel if I subscribe to your channel? Do not fall into this trap. It's far better to have relevant subscribers than just a number of subscribers. Remember, subscribers are a vanity statistic. You want followers. So don't beg, don't entice, don't seem try hard in getting your subscribers. Ask for it. I do in every video. I say, please subscribe to our channel. But I wait till the very end, after I've kind of proven my bona fides through the content. I ask people, if you've enjoyed this, please subscribe to us. It helps us out. And so when you do it that way, I think it's far more disarming and it's far more genuine. So be patient. Because remember, if you do good work, they'll be back. If you create good quality content, they will return. So play the long game. As football coaches often tell players who score their first touchdown, act like you've been there before. Act like this is not special. This is good quality work, but you can expect lots more from me. Take that attitude into it, and that's going to help you a lot. And that call to action is a part of that. Use the tools that are available to you. Get to know to use YouTube cards, which are the little I button that's over here. When videos are running on YouTube, which allow people to click straight through, so you can do calls to action, have them click through to your website, click through to your subscription, opt in for your different programs. YouTube cards, very powerful. I'll show you just how powerful they are in growing your brand in a few moments. And also make sure you use the end screens and annotations, the newest addition to the YouTube interactive suite of tools, which are the last 20 seconds of your video. YouTube has demarked certain areas to allow people to your next video to be promoted, and then whatever other activity you want, whether it's subscribing to your channel or subscribing to your newsletter, you've got kind of predefined areas that work to entice people into those. So use those as we go along. And engage in the conversation. Make sure you take time every day going to YouTube comments and honor the people who honor you by commenting on your video. And they will, I've said this so many times, but your community, if you engage with your community will lead you to the right place. If you don't know what product you're going to sell or how you're going to make money from your channel or exactly what your online community is going to look like through YouTube, engaging in a conversation with the people who watch your videos and enjoy your videos, they will lead you down the right path of what they are interested in. Then you can take that ball and run with it and create products, create more videos that they're more interested in, which creates more energy. It's the conversation. Our success at dottotech is primarily because we engaged in YouTube chat from day one. And you told us exactly what we wanted, exactly what you wanted us to create more of. And we did that, and we had success as a result. That is ever so important. Now, I don't normally do this in these tutorials, but earlier this year we did release a mini course with a webinar attached called the YouTube Launch Sequence, which I walk you step by step through the publishing process which is ever so important, the physical process that we go through as we launch each one of our videos. If you haven't yet taken this webinar, taken this course, and you really are interested in becoming successful on YouTube, this is a great starting point, and it's worth the investment. It's cheap. It's one of our mini courses at $40. If you're one of our Patreon supporters, it's $9.95. But this goes chapter and verse, step by step, through all of the steps that we take publishing each and every video. And we're going to talk about other aspects of it right now, which is the strategies around video, etc. So that list, 10 or so things that you should be doing to grow your YouTube channel, that's easy to find online. And most of you that are interested have probably found lists like that, read through them. There's videos on YouTube that walk through all of the same sort of logical advice. But here's the thing. As I put this webinar together, I realized that I don't really want to teach you how to get 100 subscribers. And I don't even really want to teach you how to get 1,000 subscribers because the numbers are irrelevant. I want to show you how to create a channel. I want to show you that your channel is more than the subscribers in the channel. The numbers are not really what's relevant. Instead, what I want to show you how to do is to create a community which has long-term, high value. It's a reputation builder. My YouTube channel, I am so proud of, and it's the engine room that drives the entire dottotech franchise. I've learned that. It's the most valuable digital asset that I have. I want you to get the same thing. And it's a valuable asset, not because of the number of subscribers, because it was so valuable to me when I was at 10,000 subscribers and 20,000 and 30,000 and 100,000 and 120,000. It was valuable at each of those stages because, not because of those numbers, but because of this number one. It was my community. My community was number one. And that community gave me the fuel to create the products that I sell, the content that I create, the reputation that I have came from my relationship with that online community. So if you're going to grow a YouTube channel, don't worry about the number of subscribers. Now, I say that, and I know you will still worry about it because I still look at how many subscribers I have. We are human after all. But that's not what's most important. It's the energy. It's the engagement. Relish that, honor that, and that's where success is going to come from. Now, that's easy to say. Strategically, we still have to get people watching. So let's get into that. So promise me, you're not going to worry about the numbers. So now, after I've just talked it all up, I'm going to say, before we even start, I want you to have a reality check. And I want you to ask yourself, is YouTube really the place that I should be? Because video is hard work, and it requires a commitment, especially at the beginning. So you have to ask yourself honestly if YouTube is the place that you should be. And the questions that you can ask is my community on YouTube? Can I find a community on YouTube? Is the type of content that I'm going to create, does it resonate on YouTube? Am I willing to do the work? The things that Steve is saying here and the things that those other people have said, the other experts have said that is required to grow a channel. Publishing frequently. Number one, coming up with an editorial schedule and respecting the medium, respecting my community that I'm building, by not disappointing them and publishing on a schedule that's going to create the kind of energy that we want to have. Do my videos have value on YouTube? Are they going to be able to be searchable? Is it something that people are going to look for? Am I going to be able to take advantage of YouTube's greatest strength, the fact that it's a search engine? Are people going to be looking for the type of things that I'm talking about so that I'm going to rank in search, so I'm going to generate the kind of traction, the kind of energy, and the kind of momentum that's going to cause my community to grow, to serve the other needs that I have, which is to support my business? Those are hard questions. I think in most cases that if you are inclined to like the idea of doing YouTube, you can find really good, solid yeses in all of these categories for most content. But you've got to determine. The most important one is, are you willing to do the work? Are you? Tell me right now. Are you willing to do the work? I believe you are. But the one ultimate truth that we also have to respect here is you got to create good content. You can't just throw crap up there. And one thing about video is it's hard work to create video. And a lot of people, when they just create any video, they feel like such a rush of accomplishment and having actually recorded a video, done it properly, have it all come together, that they don't even worry as much about the quality of content that they're delivering, or the fact that I've got a video that I can release now. So make sure that you are committed to producing good work. Do good work. If you're creating great content, that's going to help carry the day. So let's assume that we've all agreed. Anybody that's decided has left the webinar by now, I guess, that they don't want to do it. But if you're still on with us now, you're going to be a YouTube content creator. And really what you're going to become is a content marketer at the end of the day. And this is kind of fortunate because the content marketing community, the advice for the content marketers is there's a ton of good advice. There's a ton of good mentors out there. There's a ton of good models to follow. And I think the best that we can follow on YouTube, because of the nature of YouTube, how people go to YouTube looking for answers to their question, is Marcus Sheridan, the sales lion. If you aren't following him, you should look him up. He is the one social media celebrity who I believe has speaks most to my core beliefs of what I do on my channel and what I believe is a path to success. Marcus has a mantra, which is they ask, you answer. And it's magic, because if you're starting a community and the community asks you questions and you answer them, and as Marcus says, it's not just answering the easy questions, but answering the hard questions and answering the questions that others in your community or others in your space are not willing to answer. If you answer those questions, you engender trust, you engender a following, you do all you basically have a fast track to success, because you don't have to spend time worrying about what are they interested in. They're telling you what they're interested in, what they want to know more about, and you spend your time providing that, answering that question. It's a wonderful relationship, and it makes it easy to create good and compelling content. So follow Marcus Sheridan, become a content marketer if you're going to be doing a YouTube channel, and follow this mantra. Listen to what your community is telling you they want, listen for their questions, and answer them. And that, to me, is the number one path to success. Isn't it ridiculous? It sounds so simple. And it's so obvious, but so few people do it. So let's look at now kind of the content strategies we have on YouTube and what the action is and what the reward is and kind of those sides there. So the first thing that we look for YouTube to do for us is to create authority. The fact that you're publishing on YouTube, you're in a very public space. If you start ranking in search, that creates authority. And how do you create that authority? You convey value in each one of your videos. You make sure that you're honoring your audience and your content by delivering good quality, well-researched answers, clearly described. So if you convey value, you then generate authority, which becomes almost, it's one of kind of the key accelerators in YouTube growth, authority. Next, we need to create engagement. YouTube looks for engaged channels where there's lots of dialogue, where there's lots of people giving lots of actions, either just thumbs up or likes on the video, or especially comments in the channel. That YouTube considers to be proof that this video in this channel is relevant and its community is interested, and YouTube then respects that, and it helps you in search. So by asking questions, or by allowing your community to ask questions, by answering the questions, you generate engagement, which ends up being a winning strategy on YouTube. And then you build trust. With your community, you have to get them to trust you so that they come back on an ongoing basis. And you do that by delivering on expectations. And I think all of us can frankly over-deliver on the expectations by answering the hard questions, by making sure that we're not always just looking for business, but we're actually looking to educate and to enrich our community. I think, and I'll pat myself on the back here, but I think these webinars that we do right here, they're an example of over-delivery that most other content creators aren't doing. They aren't taking the time to do tutorial webinars that have no immediate revenue potential in order to build the community, to build our authority, to build our engagement, to build our relationship with the community. That's over-delivering. That's what I look at as far as over-delivering. I think if you try and do that, if you go in with that heart and that service heart to YouTube, you are going to generate all of the different touch points that are important for success on YouTube. So along with that, of course, we need the frequency, we need the quality, and we need the responsiveness. If we're going to ask people if we're going to invite people to ask us questions, we have to respond to those questions. So at that point there, it's just the hard work. It's just the getting the content out there, answering the questions, serving the community. But that, as far as I'm concerned, is a winning content strategy on YouTube. And we see the benefits. Authority gets created, and we create engagement, which then tells YouTube that we're valuable, all by having a content strategy like this. So take this and set it against the type of content and what you believe your community looks like, and that's going to give you kind of the beginning of what your roadmap is going to look like towards success. Another really important aspect is designing a format that works, not just for your overall video production, but also for your frequency and how your relationship with your channel looks. So beginning with a video format, I think that's one of the most important things that you can do before you start. Now, a lot of people, when they start producing video, test. So they'll say, I'm going to try a short video, I'm going to try a long video, I'm going to do, and I guess that's okay to do, but really, do you need to? Don't you already have a good idea of the type of content that you should be and that you can deliver to your community and what that can look like? I think if you're testing, you're a long ways away from being really ready to deliver to a community. Having said that, as you go along, you do test different formats out. But when you're talking about the core value, when I look at the core value that our channel has, we have one product, and that's our main demos. When I show you how XYZ product works. And all of those videos are between 5 and 12, 13 minutes long, and they all follow the exact same format. And if you watch my videos, you know the format. I open with a little bit of a cold open where I tell you what we're going to be talking about. I add a little bit of humor because I want people to know that haven't seen us before that I'm a little quirky. And if they don't like that, they shouldn't be watching, because I'd rather you leave quickly and not waste your time, but let you know a little bit about my personality. Then I have a short identifying bumper, about 5 seconds, with the dottotech brand coming in. Then I reintroduce the topic and set context to the topic. So if I said, today we're going to be talking about writing off the top, and then after the bumper, I'm saying, correspondence with your community is essential for doing good business. So I said context, and then I get into the demo. I'm now going to show you a writing tool that really helps facilitate that. Boom. So then I tell you what I'm going to show you. I show you the product, I demonstrate it, and then I do my calls to action at the very end. I hope you've liked this video. If you have, please give us a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel, that sort of stuff I put at the very end. So I've got a very defined format. Now, what that does for me is it allows me to always know where I am in the production process. And anybody who's taken my screencasting course, you've heard me say this over and over again, but having that clear definition of what the physical video looks like as far as what happens in each of the sections makes it very easy to produce the video, because I always know exactly what I need to do and where I am in my video production. That is a real master tip that's going to help you to create frequent videos, because if you have to create a new video as a piece of art every time you do it, where you start with a blank canvas and you have a video the other side, that is hard work. It's far easier to look at not a blank canvas, but a canvas that has your opening, your bumper, your context, your demo, your call to action, your close. Oh, now I've got structure to work on, and that makes it far easier to produce video. So coming up with a video format that works for you, that's one of your first jobs you should be doing. Coming up with one for your base product. You can do other types of products. We do long format video, we do our little short videos, but for your main product, come up with that video format. Then come up with a content roadmap. What sort of stories you want to tell. Now, this is before you're getting the input from your community, so it's going to be flexible and it's going to be easy to flesh it out. But I think you need your first month or two's videos. I would like to have your first full months recorded before you ever publish and start really trying to grow your community, and then have a good idea of what your second month's videos are going to look like. And then that can change based on as you start to have dialogue with your community. But I would like to see you have that roadmap and multiple episodes prepared before you start. Now, a lot of you already have a YouTube channel going, and you already have some subscribers, so you're not really starting from a stop. But once you've decided that you are going to commit to YouTube, that's the start. Doesn't matter how long you've already been doing it. But now once you're going to start really engaging in YouTube, at that point there, I'd like to see you have episodes in the can, ready to go, and multiple episodes planned for the future. It's just, otherwise you're just going to be you're constantly going to be in reactive mode and not in strategic mode. So that is a lot to cover. We will include in the follow-up email a list of these resources that I've discovered that talk to you about starting your YouTube channel and the best advice to getting those 100 or 1,000 subscribers, so you can read through what they have to say as well. But I think it is time for you and I to jump back in and to start answering questions. There we go. Okay, let me get back up here. Oh, I'm back. There we are. Back. It's like it ends rather abruptly, does it not?
It does a little bit. I wasn't prepared.
I was just sending Kat my email address so she can talk to me about affiliate stuff somewhere down the line. So I know that everybody, every single article that I looked up when other people were talking about starting your YouTube channel, we're talking about those things that I talked about at the top, which is, making sure that you have good thumbnail images and all of those sorts of things. And so that information is easy to find, and I will share some more with you. But I think the philosophy behind the YouTube channel that I talked about in the second part of that demo is absolute gold. Those are the things that will make a difference as you grow and as you start to establish. Because at the end of the day, the number of subscribers you have is a vanity statistic. It really doesn't matter. It's the fact if you have a vibrant community, if you have people engaging in your videos, if you start ranking in YouTube search, then YouTube is going to be the base for your business the way it has been the base for our business. So I wanted to make sure that was 100% clear. Now, before we get to your questions, which we're going to be answering all of your questions. We've got 25 minutes left in the hour right now. So we've got plenty of time to answer many, many questions before the top of the hour. We do stay on beyond the top of the hour, but we like to get as many questions answered before the hour, because we know a lot of you have just marked the 1 hour for the webinar. But before we do that, I've got a bit of housekeeping that I want to do with you. So I'm going to just start sharing the screen here and fill you in on what's coming up to expect. And then we'll get to the questions here in just a few. On Webinar Wednesday. April, if you can drop the link in for next week's registration. And the registration page is the same page as you registered for this one. So you have to scroll past this, the webinar, the YouTube webinar. There's a second login or opt-in down below. But next week we're back into the productivity space. And I'm looking forward to this, but kind of anxious about it as well. We're going to be talking about dealing with distraction, which is, for me, one of the biggest issues around productivity loss is all of the bright and shiny objects that are constantly being delivered to us on our smartphones, on our desktop, on our notifications, access to all of these different information, all of this different content.
There's a squirrel over there.
It is a squirrel over there. It constantly affects our productivity. And I believe that the thing that of all of the productivity tools that are on the planet, the tool that's between your ears is the one that's most important for actually making you productive. And overcoming distraction is probably the biggest secret to increasing your personal productivity. And it does other things as well. It reduces stress. There's a whole bunch of other aspects of it as well. But we're going to deal next week with dealing with distraction. So, and we've got some tools, as you would expect from dottotech. There are some tools, but there's also some philosophies, some ways that you approach all of this information coming in, including coming up with systems so that you trust. Because one of the reasons that we have so much distraction and we allow it to happen is we're worried we're going to miss something because we don't have systems in place to ensure that important things do not get missed. So we'll be talking about all of that. It's going to be a very valuable webinar next week on Webinar Wednesday. And then Steve's taking 2 weeks off. Steve's not actually taking 2 weeks off, but Steve can't do a webinar for 2 weeks. I'm heading off to London, England, actually almost immediately after the webinar next week. I'm there for 10 days for a family wedding, and then we're back, and then at Social Media Marketing World in San Diego, which I'm on the road for. And so that's going to get in the way of us doing a webinar for 2 weeks. So we're taking a 2-week hiatus. It in no way speaks to our commitment to continuing with Webinar Wednesdays. We will be, as soon as we're back, I don't see another hole in the schedule for quite some time. So we'll be doing regular webinars as soon as we get back. So we're looking forward to it. So a couple of weeks off. I'm actually looking forward to the break a little bit from that perspective. Now, This webinar that you're watching right now is available to you for 48 hours. We're going to be sending an email out immediately after the webinar with the replay, as I mentioned, so you can have access to it for 48 hours. And you can also find it on YouTube. It'll be up this evening, and it'll be up for also for 48 hours. What we do with these webinars is we make them available to the public for this period of time, but then we take them and then we put them into the archives, which are available to our supporters at Patreon. You see, dottotech, we do need to make a living here at dottotech, and we are well supported by a community at Patreon, which is crowdfunding, but for content creators. And our patrons at Patreon get a variety of different perks. But the biggest perk is that they keep us going. They help us. They help us to provide the stability that we need in order to provide this kind of training content. So if you're finding this valuable and you think you might want access to these webinars at some point again in the future, and so this is the 8th one. Here's just a selection of the ones that we've done up to now on personal productivity systems, social guide to social marketing. We've dealt with WordPress, Facebook video, a really nice tutorial on 3 steps to inbox zero, overcoming email overload, today's starting a YouTube channel. If you think you might want access to this sort of a training webinar in the future, then they're available to you as a supporter on Patreon. And the April will drop the link in right now where you can go, but you just go to Patreon/dottotech. We ask you for $10 a month. And for that $10 a month, you get access to our Evernote Made Easy course, all of the Webinar Wednesday archives, and over the course of the next months, that's just going to keep getting more and more valuable. And you also get 50% off on all of our premium courses, which are priced at $500. We do 3 courses this year. One will be on delivering awesome webinars of the sort that we're doing right now. Another will be on creating online courses. And the third is our flagship course, which is on screencasting, where I teach you how to create video the way that we create video on dottotech. As well, we have some mini courses like the one that I was speaking about earlier in the webinar that our Patreon supporters get for 75% off price. They get it for $10. The $40 course, which the one which we just talked about, is the YouTube launch sequence, which is a tremendously valuable course that we created a couple of weeks ago. So that's all what happens if you support us on Patreon. And we appreciate that support big time, because really it's all about community, and it's our community out there supporting us. I know there's a lot of our patrons on the call right now. We send you our heartfelt thanks. And it's not just me that you're supporting, but the entire team, April and Jen and the entire team. We've that go work hard here to produce ongoing content here on dottotech. We're here because you're supporting us, and we appreciate that support massively. And I think let's jump back in now and answer questions. We got a lot of questions, don't we?
We have a good amount of questions today. That was a great video. Great.
Wasn't that good? You know, I pat myself on the back. But as I was struggling with this, because doing this story, it just seemed like I was going to regurgitate all of this stuff that everybody else has been saying. And I really wanted to come up with a different way of approaching it, something that was really true. I mean, all of those things are true. All of those things are mechanical pieces that put you in place to make a YouTube channel happen. But you need to understand just what the value is, and not just chase those number of subscribers, which are hard, but actually recognize that the video, the other thing that I didn't mention is the videos you create today on YouTube are going to have a value for 6 months down the road. So by doing a good job at the beginning, even though you don't have a lot of subscribers now, people will go back and watch your old videos. I can't tell you how often I get emails from people or comments on the channel where people are saying, Steve, I just discovered you, and then I binge watched you this weekend. And we get that, we get that really regularly.
They were probably binge watching your old TV show out there on YouTube.
I don't think they're going quite that far back, but they're watching videos that are on topics that they're interested in. So that's that. So even though you're not maybe getting all of I think that you get more sharing out of a video an older video on YouTube than you would out of an old blog post, for example. Okay, let's get to the questions now.
All right, our friend Heather is asking, and you said you'd cover it in Q&A. She wants to know how to create the different sections, topics on a YouTube page. She hasn't been able to figure that one out. Can you help?
Okay. I think primarily what you're talking about, Heather, are playlists, which are really important on YouTube, because what they do is they tell YouTube what you think the next, where you think you have a family of different videos that fit together. And one of the things about YouTube search, which we talk about in the YouTube launch sequence, is the fact that YouTube looks for sessions as far as ranking and search, which is kind of our long-term goal, is to make sure that we rank. They look for session opens where people start watching a video and then they do what I was just talking about, binge watching. They watch multiple videos. And by creating playlists, it tells YouTube what to suggest as the next video in that sequence as people are on your channel. So that's how we kind of create our sections and the categories within YouTube. So, and you can also use playlists to define different areas within your channel. So for example, we've got a productivity track, but we also do our social marketing. Now I could have done 2 YouTube channels, which would have divided the attention. It might, in some cases, it might be worthwhile, but by having different playlists, I can have the same channel, but cover several different topics or several different primary topics. So check the playlists out, master the playlist, and you'll have the kind of segmentation you want.
Okay. Jose's asking, do you have any suggestions about equipment or gear in creating
Yes,
video?
and let me drop in again. Let me just grab the URL. We've got a nice little tutorial on that, which is one of our mini courses on Thinkific, which is, I'm just dropping it into chat right now. It's okay, I already got it. I just dropped the link in. So this is a mini course where I go through all of the hardware and software setup. And then I also talk about our publishing sequence, how you go about publishing video, the style of screencasting that we do for our channel. And it's a great tutorial, but it gives you all of the gear. In a nutshell, though, we use a simple webcam, Logitech C920 webcam, a good quality USB mic. I actually have a better than good quality USB mic. I have an analog mic and a good sound system, but your audio is ever so important. We've got about $150 or $200 worth of continuous lighting that you can get from Cowboy Studios. You can find them on Amazon. And I've got this new kick-ass kind of tiny little green screen that's actually set for blue right now, but it's a pop-out screen that April just bought one.
I did, but it takes a while to ship.
Oh, well, that's because you live in the hinterland.
Oh, no. Here we go.
But so, and then on as far as software goes, we use ScreenFlow on the Mac and Camtasia if you're a Windows user primarily, and that's it. But all of that is covered in that, as well as the setup, and is covered in that mini course. So I encourage you to sign up for that.
All right, our friend Shannon is asking, do you get a notification when people comment on your channel? And is there a way to set up notifications?
I'm not positive about notifications. There probably is. I don't look for notifications because I go in and check my channel on an ongoing basis. But there's probably a way that you can be notified. That's a good question, but it's something that has never been an issue for me just because I check my channel comments every day. Actually, I do get notifications. What am I saying? I get notification on my phone every time somebody comments on the channel. I do see it. Yes, you can.
Yeah, I would imagine it's in the settings.
Yeah, it's just in the settings. Yeah.
Avram's asking, how do you do a YouTube chat?
If you're talking about YouTube live, that's a whole different animal than what we're talking about. But YouTube has live streaming just as Facebook has live streaming. Now, YouTube live streaming currently comes primarily from our smartphone, but you can set up a chat and you set it up and broadcast it pretty much the same way as you do a Facebook Live. We'll be doing some tutorials on that coming up. We've got some webinars coming up on live. I believe live, the whole world of live versus pre-recorded, there's a whole different set of criteria of how you prepare, how you present, how you support, how you follow up with the live broadcast stuff. So it's certainly something that we're going to be talking about an awful lot, but it's pretty straightforward. It's very similar to how you do Facebook Live now.
All right. Are you constantly in the comments with your followers on YouTube? So are you constantly engaging with them in the comment section?
I try and be daily. I don't always make it daily, but yes, I read them all every day. I deal with any issues that are like urgent. But comments will not sit for more than a day or two without being replied to. And I read every single comment and acknowledge every comment.
Okay.
I think that's an important thing in growth. That creates trust. And it also, as I mentioned in the video, told you interested in. Just like now, the questions that you're asking about live video, that entrenches and helps me determine that, looking at our schedule saying, we got to do something on live video sooner rather than later. They're interested in it as you hear about those things. Being in that comments, just like talking about what Marcus Sheridan does. They ask, you answer. Hearing from your community just is an absolute fast track to growing that community. That's the thing I never had when I did television. When I did television, my community was the advertisers. and the network managers, the people at the TV networks. They were the ones that told me what they thought I should do. I never actually heard from the people that watch the shows. With YouTube, you get to hear from the people that watch your videos. What a gift. It's so powerful. And it's something that if you leverage and you honor it, you will have success.
All right. Stephen from the UK is sending cheers, and he's asking about editing software.
I use screencasting software, ScreenFlow on the Mac and Camtasia. You can use Camtasia on the Mac. I prefer ScreenFlow, but Camtasia if you're in Windows. But that's screencasting software. You can certainly use Adobe Premiere or any of those other products. But for the type of video we do, which is screen recording, those two tools, ScreenFlow, Camtasia, are light years the best.
Okay. Jean has an existing channel with 700 plus videos, just signed up with G Suite. Now I have a different email address. Should I start a new channel?
No. No. Just because, no, you've still got your old Gmail address, I assume, and you can still access the channel. So if you've got 700 videos, if you've got all that invested in it, there's no way I would start a new channel. Not unless you're like starting a new career. If it's like it's about cooking and you're going to start doing something about chemistry or something, then you might consider it. But no, I definitely wouldn't if you're still in the same topic area.
All right, our friend Robert is saying, I learned about Blab from you. I'd like to hear your opinion on Fire Talk as a replacement. Our group would like to use something like that to create content. The recording would end up on our YouTube sites and be embedded on our website.
I haven't tried Fire Talk. I haven't, and the Blab experience left me slightly wounded, as it did you, I imagine, just because of how their demise. One of the things we're really excited about using Webinar Jam, which we're using here, is we're recording these, and it's now just, notice the screen looks very Blab-like. It's got a lot of the functionality that Blab had. Webinar Jam doesn't have the instant discoverability and the lower barrier for entry as far as people watching you. But I don't think anything else does either, really. But the benefit is you capture people's email addresses as they're registering for Webinar Jam, and then you've still got the replayability. This whole webinar will be on YouTube in a few hours, so you'll be able to see how it resolves through. It's pretty cool this way.
All right. Heather's asking, if you have a channel with a few random videos, but you're going in a new, very focused direction, should you delete those old videos or just start a new channel?
No, neither. Take those random videos and create a playlist, random videos, that tells people they're random, and then create playlists which are specific. And this is cooking with, what was her name?
Heather.
Cooking with Heather, and then create. But just keep them there. There's no point in unless you're embarrassed by them, then delete them. But no, don't do that.
I was just thinking when my first time at Social Media Marketing Worlds, I did random videos. They're definitely random. Had no idea what I was doing. But they're fun. Yeah.
And a lot of us do that. We kind of make a video, and then I think that's the way a lot of people start their YouTube channel is, I'm going to record it. And you get that first, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm recording a video now, and I'm hoping that somebody's going to tell me they like it so that I encourage me to do something else. We can do better.
All right. Jose's asking, would YouTube be a good option for a paid subscription membership video platform? Seems not to be possible to control video access streams.
Yes, you can. You can make them private. You can make them public, or you can make them, you can basically gate them so you require a password. But it isn't the best for that. If you aren't concerned, YouTube's strength is discoverability, is the fact that you're sharing video on YouTube that people are going to find as a search engine. If that's not important to you, and protecting the video and being in charging for the video is important, then a tool like Wistia or Vimeo is a better choice.
Bud is asking for your comments. I've heard that the downside of YouTube channel is that they own all of your content and can do anything they want with it. What are your thoughts?
YouTube doesn't own all of my content. I own all of my content. They have the rights to distribute my content until I pull it from YouTube, but they don't own all of your content.
Okay. Facebook favors videos uploaded to its platform. How do you balance this with putting the effort into building a community on YouTube? It's a great question.
Really good question. And if you didn't see last week's webinar on Facebook video, we dealt with this in detail in last week's video on Facebook video. So if you're not a Patreon member, sign up for Patreon and watch that video. It's worth it. But so it depends on, this is where we kind of get granular, and it depends on what the goal of your channel is. For me, Our goal was to grow YouTube. Is always to drive people to YouTube and to grow YouTube. I'm committed to one channel because I think you can only really commit to one channel. Having said that, we came up with an entire video strategy at the start of this year to help grow our presence on Facebook. And it's videos that we've formatted specifically for Facebook, and we are uploading in native format to Facebook to extend our reach. But they're just basically branding exercises on Facebook to extend our reach. And we still drive people back ultimately to our mail list so that we can gain access to them. It doesn't benefit the YouTube channel, but it benefits our brand. You've got to determine exactly what that social marketing mix that you're going to put forward is. If having additional YouTube subscribers is really your goal and YouTube channel is the base for your business that you really want to grow, and you would rather have one new subscriber on YouTube than 30 views on Facebook, then you can use the strategy that we do, which is you take the YouTube video, you cross-post it to your blog post, and you share your blog post on Facebook, and then you can also pay to share it on Facebook if that's the case. Facebook still suppresses YouTube video, that's true. So you aren't going to get the viral sharing that you could, but paid traffic, you're going to get all the sharing that you pay for. So there's I'm sorry to give you so many different answers because there's a real cocktail of opportunity when we start talking about it. But where you upload native video and how you choose to upload native video is a really sophisticated strategy that's starting to become really important in our space, is where we host the video. Because on YouTube, we're playing to the algorithm. No, we're playing to search. We're playing to be discovered in search. So the criteria for our video and how we articulate what the video is all about being discovered in search. Once you're uploaded in Facebook, if you're looking for viral sharing and growth in Facebook, it's all about the algorithm. It's how Facebook is going to decide what the benefit to Facebook is to share your video. So it's far more nebulous as far as how we get viral sharing in Facebook. And it's Facebook's best interest. YouTube's most concerned about YouTube, of course, but they're most concerned that the people that are looking for content find it. That's why it's a much more democratic network, and you feel you're in more control because you don't have this mysterious rules that are determining how your video gets shared. If you do good quality video that answers a question, YouTube is going to share it because it serves the community that's asking for it. Because YouTube's end goal at the end of the day is to be a search engine where people trust and discover what they're looking for. Facebook's goals are far more difficult, always difficult for the mere mortals to understand. And they do it all based on the algorithm, which we don't really know how it works. So that's a long-winded answer to, yes, you should upload native on Facebook if it works for you. I can't believe I did such a circular answer.
That's okay. I just have to ask you, what does nebulous mean? I'm not sure I actually know what that word means.
Nebulous it's hard to define.
Okay. All right. It's not a Canadian word or something.
No, it's not a Canadian word. It's an English word.
All right. Let's see. Steven's asking, do you think Google YouTube will run out of disk space with so much lengthy content on there?
No chance. They just made an announcement today that YouTube is now going to be a television network where they're going to allow you to sign up to watch ABC and Fox and all of those things. Larger markets only to begin with. And one of the features of the new YouTube network is an unlimited space DVR, where you can record as much video as you want to your own personal space online. So they are not going to run out of space. They have 1 billion minutes of video watched a day now. They're not running out of space.
In the past, I used Google Circles to do my content, limited to a certain group of people. Today it falls apart and people I can add one by one to each video. Is there a faster or easier way? So we can't add, Daniel's saying you can't add a whole bunch of people at a time to his circles. He can only add them one at a time.
I don't use Google Plus that way, so I'm not the right one to ask about that. I never invite people to watch my videos that way, so I don't know. I'm sorry. Don't have any advice for you.
Bill's asking, what's a good go-to source to help with the mechanics of building a YouTube channel? And that would be your course, right? Mini course?
Well, I think our course is one. The other great online people that teach, that do a good job of teaching, are Daryl Eves, Darryl Eves, Eves. He does a great job, and Tim Schmoyer, the video creators. Those are people that I really respect, and also I've lost his name right now. How can I forget his name? Roberto. What's Roberto's last name?
Oh no, I don't know Roberto.
Oh, he's good. Young guy.
You could search Roberto Young Guy.
Roberto. This is the result of being Farley Goy. Now my dog is interested in me because he sees me all confused.
Just as an FYI.
Roberto Blake. I was having a brain fart. Roberto Blake.
Okay. We're at the minute to the top of the we're at a minute to the top of the hour.
Okay. So I will let everybody know that we will continue to answer questions for as long as the questions are here. But if you do have to leave, then there'll be a replay link sent to you in an hour. As we say, the video will also be on YouTube if you want to be able to fast forward to the section to the rest that you're not going to see now. So we thank you very much. Sign up for next week's webinar. We are going to be dealing with distraction. It's going to be very, very useful for very, very many of you. And if you've got friends that you know are distracted and cannot deal with all of the stuff coming in, recommend they join us for next week's dottotech webinar Wednesday. So for all of you that have to leave now, till next time, have fun storming the castle, and let's continue on with the questions.
Okay. Let's see, recommendations on the screens, low to high cost. So everybody, even though you already talked about your green screen, you're still getting a lot of questions. People actually want to see your pop-up behind that. If you could show it.
Okay, you know what we'll do is I will make a note and I will put that in the follow-up email. I'll put the links in of what I bought.
Okay. And actually, you already commented about the new YouTube channel TV being started. That was a question. Tina's saying her 8-year-old wants to know how to make a more professional video. Any tips for kids on making video? They probably know more than us.
Yeah, I don't. You know who does it? I think Roberto does a good job in teaching that kind of stuff, and Amy Schmidtauer does some on that as well.
When you say post regularly, do you mean publish daily, weekly, bi-weekly? What's your recommendation?
Yes. Whatever's right for your marketing goals, your growth goals, and for your community and your ability to publish. I would say anything less than once every 2 weeks, though, you're probably not going to gain any traction. So at least weekly is kind of where it would be. We try and publish 4 times a week here at dottotech now. So we try and be in there a lot.
All right. What are you currently using for a very sharp video feed?
Me right now? It's a combination of I've got good bandwidth here, which gives you a sharp feed. We have good upload. I'm just using a Logitech C920 camera. I've got good lighting, and I use a tool on my Mac called Webcam Settings that allows me to white balance the camera, which gives you some nice natural light, so you can see my healthy glow of my normal skin. See, I can actually change that. I can make me see this is what the camera would look like if we didn't use it, and see how I don't look so good anymore, do I? And this is what it looks like. There. So
well, I think blue is your color.
Sorry?
I think the navy blue is your color behind you. I like that.
Yes, the flip side of the green screen. Yeah, that gives us a slightly different look.
All right. Rayanne is asking, can you share snippets of another person's video, giving them credit, but you talk and create the content, or is it better just to link to the other person's video?
I think either way works as long as you're giving proper creditation. It's up to you. It depends on the format and the style that works best for you.
All right. I'm working with a couple of folks to create a YouTube channel for a pan-Canadian organization. We have a bunch of videos ready to go, but are having trouble creating a branded account. Can you recommend a resource to create the branded account that multiple users can upload to?
I've never done a branded account, so I'm not certain exactly what's. I'm not certain if you have to have a certain amount of traction before you do it. It's something that I would look into. So, April, send Michael my email address, and that's something that we'd have to consult offline on. And probably there's going to be somebody better than me to talk about it. But once I have a little better idea of what you're trying to do, then I can probably give you some specific advice. But okay. I've never branded accounts, from what I understand, are accounts that actually have that are attached to a brand that YouTube actually gives an account manager to. So it's probably not an easy thing to accomplish.
Ian's asking, what's the difference between webinar, seminar, workshop, mini course? Okay.
Webinar is what we're doing right now, where we're delivering a webinar. A seminar is something that I would consider to be live, happening in real life. What was the third one?
Seminar, webinar, workshop, and mini course.
Workshop again would be probably something that you do live, and a mini course is what we do. As it's the word that I use, and it's a courses that we create on a single topic as opposed to a comprehensive course. Like our course on teaching how to do video and screencasting, that's a course. It's comprehensive, but the mini course are ones that are defined like primarily with about an hour webinar. Farley, go away. My dog is driving me crazy. He knows that after this is over, we go for a WALK.
What is it?
So, yeah, just so you know, there he is right there. Look at what he's all over me. Poor Farley. Anyways, in a mini course, so I just call mini because it's not a full-blown course because we just kind of deal with one skill set. So that's what I call it, a mini course. And they're typically priced accordingly.
Can you share the app again for the Mac webcam? And also, do you know if there's a Windows webcam app?
The nice thing about the Logitech drivers is they do a better job doing the white balancing and all that stuff in Windows, so you don't necessarily need it. The Logitech drivers will do it for you. On the Mac, it's called Webcam Settings, and it's available at the Apple Store, the online Apple Store, Mac Store.
A few people are asking if you can share your slides from today's webinar in addition to the video.
Yeah, I can. So give me the note, and I will include them in the note that we send out.
All right. And then Richard is asking, letting you know, I appreciate the fact that the chat is included in your reply videos. However, is there a way to publish or include the actual full chat as a text download?
Yes, that's something that is we've got in the right now. Nobody has access to that except us right now. But in the very near future, we're working on a system for Webinar Wednesdays where we're going to have them all encapsulated in a Thinkific container, where all of the webinars will be there, as well as the chat are demarked separately and saved as separate text. But we don't make them available right now, but they are going to be available to the Patreon community as a part of that.
Joanna's asking, is it better to have a separate channel for each subject or category?
No, I don't think so. Well, not if they're completely disconnected, yes, but that's not going to be the case. Increasingly, I mean, it depends what type of a social media marketer or social marketer you are. Even though we deal with a couple of different topic areas, Farley, serious, you are so needy today. I think people are interested in if it's opinion and personality based, as our channel is, then it's entirely appropriate to keep it all together. If you're a big brand and you've got you've got a manufacturing that does automobiles and another one that does airplanes, well, yeah, it should be separate channels. So you're going to have to determine based on if your audience is going to have natural crossover and if it's going to be a detriment to have and create confusion by having multiple. See, that the concept of having playlists gives you a lot of flexibility, I believe, within a channel.
What's the best way to deal with trolls? Just to ignore them?
I don't. As April knows, on my personal Facebook page, I have something called Comment of the Week, where whenever anybody makes a rude comment to me, I respond to them and have fun with it. So I'm of the opinion that you can either just delete them, which is a good way to do things, block them from your channel if they're offensive. And if they're offensive, I delete the comment immediately, anybody that's being offensive. But if they're just being rude and just kind of trying to tell me that I'm stupid and fat or something like that, then I have fun with it.
All right. First of all, you're getting some love here. Steve, you are my hero. I recommend you to all my clients. Woohoo!
Thank you. I appreciate that so much.
Chantel is asking, how many playlists can you have on each channel?
As many as you want.
Okay. Kathy has a question about social media marketing worlds. The digital version is $447 US. Do you recommend, as it is still costly, but is it worth doing if you are new?
Boy, there's there's 100 and some odd talks that you get access to. I mean, I appreciate you used our affiliate link. But having said that, yeah, that's some. I found social media marketing world when I was beginning my career, social media marketing world, the online summit that they did, I paid for that the first year myself, and I got a lot of great value out of that. you have to remember that at the topics that are going to be covered there are 30 miles wide and about a foot deep. You're not going to get like even the detail. Well, actually, the webinar that I've delivered here, I'm going to be using a big pieces of that for my particular one. So there's some speakers are going to have that kind of depth. So I believe that there is, if you're just starting out in social marketing, it's probably the best resource if you're going to use it. If you have time to sit down and go through all of that content, yes, it's going to be good value. And they've got just an A list of speakers.
And I agree. I've been there 3 times, and I did the digital version. And
did you put our affiliate link in it?
I'm looking for it. Yes, here.
It's in the link library. It's in the affiliate library.
Yep. All right. I will. Oh, there it is. I got it.
I'll find the next question.
Okay.
I feel for Farley. I have a Chihuahua spaz who pushes me out of my chair to go for a WALK. I like how Heather actually spells out the word because she's afraid to say it. Even type it out properly in the thing because they know that. Chanel, can you have one video on several different playlists? Yeah, you can put a video on multiple playlists. So, for example, I might have one on Gmail, and it might also be in my productivity playlist. That works just fine, Chantel. Or Chantel.
All right. Sorry, here's the affiliate link. I think actually we were mostly through all the questions. There was somebody again asked about the legality of using somebody else's snippets at the beginning of their video. That came up a few times, but I believe you answered that.
Yeah, and YouTube does a good job of demarcating fair use, and you'll know. And don't push the boundaries. If you get, you'll also get content warnings. Mostly the warnings come as a result of improper use of music. That's really usually where the biggest challenge is.
Okay. And I think I actually think that's a wrap.
Do I have a discount on Webinar Jam? No, I don't. I don't know if they're going to have a new sale coming up on it or not, but it's so I don't have any discounts on it at this point here. Might try for when we do. We're going to be doing a webinar course coming up. That's our next course that's coming up, and we'll be doing a lot with Webinar Jam. So I'll ask them if there's one available to our patrons there, but we'll see what happens at that point. But nothing right now.
Bill just wants to.
In my studio, Laura asks, no, I've got big umbrella. I've got the umbrella lights. They're cheap fluorescent set of cheap. They're like $150 at Amazon. Well, see, you said there's no questions, and now they're flooding in.
I know. Avram wanted to know. I think he's at the beginning of his business phase. So, website or YouTube channel first?
You need both. You absolutely need both. The social system that we went through kind of walks through all of that, but yeah, you need both. You see, you can search and to bring people in and inform people about you, but you need a web page because you need a place to ultimately bring people into your intimate community, signing them up for your newsletter, and that typically comes from a web page. Ultimately, if you're in the online marketing business, if you aren't list building, if you aren't bringing people onto your mail list, you're not doing your job, or not. You're making it a far more difficult struggle.
All right. And late question, annotations and end screens. Oh. How do you get them both to appear on videos?
What was it? Heather? Heather's asking what the social media. I'll fix that. I'll get you the proper link. So I'll send it to you as soon as we're done here, Heather. So we won't worry about that right now. What was the question about end links?
And links and annotations. How do you get both to appear on your videos? I see it on other.
You can't have both annotations and end cards. You have to choose one or the other with the current YouTube setup.
Okay. How about music? What to use in the licensing around it?
I buy most of my music from, what's the name of the site? It is, it's a community. I'm just drawing a blank on that as well. But I just license music online. By the way, if you do a search, did we do a video on it, or is it just in our course? YouTube has a huge library of music that's available to content creators. You just go into your content dashboard, and let me show you. A little bonus. Steve's going to jump into his YouTube channel. Resolution is the demo because I'm pushing this through in real time. But if you go down here into the create, you see over here on the left hand side of the YouTube, this is our actual dashboard. And are we getting it? Is the feed coming through? I see your video there. Oh, no, good. Okay. We go over here into there is an audio library. And here and it's done to different styles. There's also sound effects, so you can have farts if you need them, because everybody needs farts in all of their videos. We also have like babies crying and sirens and all of that sort of stuff. But look at all of this different music that you can use as a bed, that you can use for introductory music. Some of them have, they'll tell you if that you have a Creative Commons attribution and where you can use them, and other ones are just open for anybody to use for anything. So this is a great resource as a place to start. Look, there's hundreds of songs here that are all in the YouTube library, and it's like a hidden resource. I never hear this music being used, so it's not like you're gonna use it and somebody's gonna go, oh my God, they're using the music from the YouTube library. That's not going to happen. This is good stuff.
All right. Also, as an FYI, I did put in the correct link to SMMW17. Sorry about that.
Oh, you got the correct one? Thank you.
Yep, I did. All right. Ian, is there an entire playlist on dottotech webinars and seminars? I don't know if you want to talk about Patreon again quickly before we
what was he asking?
Is a playlist, an entire list or option to see your other videos and
they're all in the feed. They're all in the Patreon feed right now, but we're actually working on a Thinkific course that people will have access to, that will have all of them in a little bit more of a container environment, but that'll come quickly. But right now they're all available just in the newsfeed.
Okay, and Steve's a half an hour from London and would love for you to connect with a cup of coffee. I think he even said he's buying. No,
I might need that. It's a family thing. So first of all, if I do duck out, I'm putting my personal life at risk, but I might need it for my sanity. So there's a balancing act. We're gonna have to figure out while we're in
what are your thoughts about
England.
What are your thoughts about do-it-yourself websites like Wix? Worth the effort, or is WordPress the way to go?
I think if you're going to be serious about it, learning the WordPress skills is the way to go. That's my personal opinion. And I'm always concerned about sites like Wix, how well they rank in YouTube search or Google search. Ultimately, when you're in WordPress, you can put tools on it, like you can put Yoast on it, so you can make sure that you're going to rank properly in search and that you've got all of the pieces there. You've got to rely on somebody else's container. I'm just not sure it's ultimately as good for you long term in your business, but it is easier and quicker to start.
Somebody's asking if you can just briefly talk about Thinkific and why would you use it?
Thinkific is a learning management system, and it does so much of what we used to try and do in a membership area. It allows us to register people for our courses. It hosts the courses. It creates the landing and sales pages for the courses. If we charge for a course, it has the e-commerce engine allowing us to collect either PayPal or Stripe payments for the courses. It's got a membership management area where you can answer questions. It's got a testing so that you can create course certificates. It's got built-in chat and built-in conversation management so that you can handle students' questions as they go along. You can drip your courses out over time, so you can have them receive their courses over a period of time. You can use it for free when you're starting your course, and if you're giving away free course, it's always free. You can also, if you're just starting your business, you don't have to pay. It's about $100 a month for the kind of a really good kind of baseline kit, but they'll just take a percentage of your sales at the beginning until you reach that $100 a month. So it's very affordable and allowing you to scale up. They've got excellent online support, and they're a good Canadian company.
They are. Training videos, wanting to make available to students only. How do you do that? So I think the question was, if you have training videos and you're wanting to make them available to students, what's the best way to do that?
A module like Thinkific. I'm just putting the URL in right now.
I can do it if you're.
Yep, there we go.
Okay. Let's see. Can you recommend?
That was Kathy. Okay, so you're going to get the Thinkific one in?
Yep. Can you recommend a good resource that summarizes monetization options and strategies for video content?
No, well, somebody like the video creators, and it's we've got a webinar coming up where we're going to be talking about making money with YouTube and your monetization strategies. So we'll be talking about that, but I don't have anything currently on that topic. But that's one that it's actually on the list, so it's good to hear that it's interesting.
All right. And then there was a question from Bill. What should I study first? Podcasting, YouTube, or WordPress?
Oh man. Well,
I think it depends where you are in your business, don't you think?
yeah. WordPress is going to take the longest to learn. Your investment in podcasting and YouTube is going to serve you the best long term. It's going to have the best long tail. YouTube's probably the best to start with because you can do podcasting in YouTube. I mean, YouTube ultimately is a better discovery engine, I think, than anything else. So I would start with YouTube and just begin a real journey of learning how to use WordPress.
Bill is brand new. He's adding to that. So
good stuff. Well, you're in an exciting spot, Bill.
yes. Matt is asking, do you shoot your video in 720 or 1080?
1080? We do it in 1080, but yeah. But YouTube will scale it. You uploaded the highest resolution you can. We upload 1080p, and YouTube scales it depending on what bandwidth is available as a person's viewing.
All right. I think we are at the end.
Excellent. Yes. It's always 20 minutes over. It's always 20 minutes.
It is always 20 minutes. Awesome questions, though.
We've been pretty consistent with this. I hope that you guys found this valuable. I had a little more vested in this one because I thought I hope that you appreciate how we took a little bit of a different tack at dealing with publishing on YouTube. So you have I think a more complete picture of what YouTube should be doing for you and why it's important to invest in some really thoughtful, not just kind of dip your toe in YouTube, but to approach it with a strategy at the beginning. And I think that ultimately is going to lead to much, much greater success. So thank you all. And I'm sure we have some new patrons on. Let's just take a look over. Yes, do we have? No, we don't. Oh, somebody bought a Thinkific course. But we thank you all for considering joining us on Patreon and supporting us. And those of you who are supporting us on Patreon, we thank you ever so much for that. We as we say, we're here because you guys make it happen. Join us next week for when we talk about dealing with productivity, and then we're a couple weeks off, but we'll be back with lots more webinar Wednesdays. Now, April has been working on this all day, so I'm going to let April.
Oh no!
I'm going to let April put a button on today's webinar. Thanks, everybody. Go ahead, April.
Have fun storming the castle, friends. I had my own spin. Right? I got it. Did I get it?
Close.
Oh,
take care, everybody.
Come on.